Good morning and good evening. I'm Josh, the software dev.
I'm Alex, the product owner, and this is tech stuff we make decisions on every day. Now, the most hairy decision that comes in between a product owner and a developer is tech debt.
Tech debt.
Josh, when should we tackle it? When should we build it? Now, I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to say I have a bit of a different view about what technology debt is. So, when you have packages that have been deprecated, or you've got stuff that needs to be upgraded because other people are moving along at the same time, I would consider that tech debt. But if I can't build a feature because the technology doesn't enable me to do so, I wouldn't call that feature debt. I'd call that tech debt because that's not my fault. That's yours.
Yeah, well, it's easy to blame the code base and the previous developer. Hey, that's just tech debt. That's not my work. Tech debt is everyone's favorite, scapegoat for how tricky it is to build a feature or why we're getting blocked or this kind of thing. There are countless different opinions out there from very different experienced software developers. So tech debt, generally it's like the code base isn't in a structure or there's some package that's blocking us from doing something quickly because it's not in the shape that we can easily just go and build something. Most most developers' opinion on tech debt is it's kind of like brushing your teeth. It's every day, you should just fix it a little bit. And while you're doing your day-to-day work, as long as you're making things better along the way, kind of leaving the place better than you found it is what often we say to each other in the on Slack and in our dev communities. That's generally the accepted thing, and I'm in favor of that. Why would you enter a room and you see it's messy and you just leave it messy and you walk out? We don't do that in our house, or we don't do that in our lives. So why are we following the same thing, the same approach in our jobs when we see our the code and the systems that we work on?
So I like the idea of cleaning up tech debt as you go. So if you're touching the feature or if you're touching the function or something like that, you might as well do a little bit of a tidy up and things like that. When do you ever go and tackle the big hairy beast in the corner in that room you never go into? When do you clean that up?
Yeah, this is like the second phase of tech debt because the first thing, that's quite straightforward. The second phase is, wow, this is a job in its own. I can't just go in here and clean up this room. It's like the room's fallen apart. Like we need to get a builder in here and we need to build this again. It's kind of like this. And it needs that dedicated effort. And actually, the architecture can't grow into a better place without it. So that's why it's a common pinch point between product owner and software engineer, tech lead, that says, "Hey, we need time to fix this." So I'm actually on that table going, "Yeah, we do need time to fix this." I've seen countless systems where they just leave those broken rooms, the big tech debt thing, the blocking tech debt, for years and years and years, and nothing changes, and it's prohibiting velocity and speed within the team.
Mhm. I think for being a product owner and being the person who's in control of the backlog, those tech debt tickets live in my backlog as well. And I'm very happy usually to push them further and further down the backlog, but eventually we do need to tackle them. And my golden rule about when I'd like to think about tackling them is a release before I'm going to need that particular feature to change. So I need to make sure that if something is blocking us from building feature X and I want to release it in my third release, then I got to make sure that tech debt is cleaned up by feature two, by release two.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like a step change and you're preparing for the tech debt. But sometimes it's not just, oh, we need to spend 2 days on this and it's done. Sometimes this could be months of, runway and planning in order for this part to move before this part can move before this part to move. And sometimes it's better just to never do it. The developers will say, oh, we really need to fix this, but it's actually just easier to build it again better. Leave that slowly bring down the traffic, deprecate it, and your new one's up and running.
Yeah. So I think to make sure we provide some value to our users, the product owner is always going to say, hey, don't do it. But Josh, here's the hot take. As a developer, how do you convince a product owner, one, when tech debt needs to be tackled, and two, I'm not technical, but quite often I hear from developers like, oh, we're developing slowly because we're using the wrong database or we're using the wrong package. You as a senior developer, how do you handle things like that and when things don't actually need to be fixed?
One, to convince my product owner, I would come to the table with a plan. These are the three things that we need to do to unlock. This is the estimated time. This is what we need. And then the product owner usually goes, wow, I have the full picture now. Let's put that in. And it gets done. Two, a lot of people love the new and shiny. I mean, we all love the new and shiny toys and the packages and things like that. But I think really great developers are pragmatic about the tools and the systems that they're working with. A lot of the time, the old school frameworks that have been around for decades do the job and they don't need to be changed. And I think it's just the seniors approach to this kind of thinking what will convince the other software devs that it's not all about the new and shiny.
That it's actually
And
about
if
the
you,
user's value.
yeah, that it's actually about the value and it's actually about business value. Nobody cares what framework you're using when they open the app. They don't even know. They don't even care. So why should we care so much, right? It's about value, what's there, be pragmatic, use the framework that's already there, and you know this is the approach that I take in my role. Not everything needs to be new and shiny. You need to use the latest and greatest, right? Because it's just a waste of time. Because the page looks the same. That's what the business owner says.
That's amazing insight. So, for all the product owners watching along, practice with me. I will do some tech debt. Say it with me now. I can't say it twice. But hopefully, as you said, Josh, we'll leave the place better than when we found it.
Exactly. Exactly. Great motto to have.